present order.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, and the home of the brave.
Wow, what an amazing voice. That's like America's Got Talent status right there. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Caitlin, for the wonderful song, the national anthem you sung for us here. Thank you. Who's your dad? Erwin? Councilmember from Vallejo, board member, Vallejo Chamber of Commerce, past president or president of Filipino Chamber of Commerce. He's all over the place. So big round of applause. He's our committee chair for APAPA. He'll share the format with us. So thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Are you wrapping up? Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first ever APAPA Solano's Voter Education and Registration Forum. I know you have been thanked by so many of the speakers, and rightly so. Nonetheless, I also want to thank you, each and every one of you that are present here, our candidates, for gracing this forum with your presence out of your very busy schedule. With the primary less than 3 weeks away, and the absentee ballots are already in the hands of many of your constituents, you cannot be less busy as you are right now. So again, thank you. This is an event that was actually planned as an voters education and registration forum. But we in the committee think that the best way to educate voters is to show how candidates handle themselves in the most busiest time in their schedule, and invite them in a forum with 15 other high-powered candidates under the watchful eye of the famous CCN. That is very, very testing, and it's education at its best. We have today what you may call a very unusual setup, because I have never seen a political forum in this area with so many of you in one room ready to educate the community and the voters. We divided the forum in 3 panels. And mind you, we tried to group all candidates in the same position in one panel. But it cannot be done unless we have more panels and more time. Dr. Cheryl Lewis wants that out here at 4 o'clock, but I'm pretty sure we can extend. I think it will work. Each panel is given 40 minutes. 1 minute for opening statement and 2 minutes for closing. So that is 15 minutes with 5 members in a panel. Then 4 questions with 1¼ minutes to answer from each. And that equates to 25 minutes. And that's the 40 minutes. So in between, you have to discount some of your time if you want the moderators to talk at all. Because there's no time for the moderators unless you give them some time. I'm just kidding. So that's the gist of the forum. I would now want to introduce the panelists present here today. The first panel, we have Greg Coffes from the Senate District 3 candidate. Greg. We have Assembly Member Bill Dodd and Senate District 3 candidate. And Mike Reagan, Solano County Supervisor, District 5. We put you here because I think personally that you're more Senate material. And the second panel, we have Monica Brown, Solano County District 2 Supervisor candidate. Monica. Michael Cohn, Solano County District 2 Supervisor candidate. Dennis Honeychurch is here, but he's also a candidate for District 2 and Solano County Supervisor. Mike Comedes, Solano County District 2 Supervisor candidate. And Dave Miller is here, is a Assembly District 11 candidate. I put him here because I want him to assemble the thought of the supervisors. So, the final three, we have Deborah Allen from Assembly District 14. Pokey Creek, Congressional District 3 candidate. Pokey's not here yet. Tim Grayson, Assembly District 14 candidate. And Dr. Hermes Kumar, Assembly District 14 candidate. And Mr. Niels Paulson, Congressional District 5 candidate. I know he's at the back. So welcome to all of you, and again, thank you very much. So we'll proceed with the four.
I've lived in the district for 42 years. I've been married to my wife, Patty, for 26 of those. I have three children, two girls and a boy. My son is currently stationed in Yokohama, Japan. I myself am a Air Force veteran. In those 42 years, we have raised the children. I have started an electrical contracting company and served in the U.S. Air Force. I have labored under the laws, the tax system of the district. I understand, as an electrical contractor, what it takes to make a payroll, what it takes to work and live in this district. In that time frame, I've seen more and more restrictive legislation, more and more of the control taken away from the people in this audience and shifted to Sacramento. I am for small government, and I am for local control. My microphone isn't working again.
We can hear you very well, Mr. Coates, and I'm afraid your time is up. Perfect time. Our next speaker will be Mr. Bill Reeves, Senate District 3 candidate.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you.
I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's just show how good you are on your feet. Why don't you come up here and use my mic?
I moved to Northern California about 5.5 years ago, having previously served in Washington, D.C. on the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Air Force's staff. And so what I'm offering you as a candidate is leadership. I've been trained in many of America's finest leadership institutions. I've served honorably in the military. I've had policy work in Washington, and I think that's what we need in Sacramento. I think we need leadership. And so I've come to you as somebody not embroiled in the system, not bought off by big interest, big corporations, or big money, but somebody who for my entire lifetime has put you first and foremost always. And I'm running to improve your quality of life because I got 3 little babies at home, Preston 5.5, Michaela 4.5, and my little son Harrison, who's a wrecking ball, 18 months, and my beautiful bride Christy. And I think we need somebody who's going to work for the folks in this room and not the folks in the high-rise buildings in Sacramento. So I look forward to your questions. You can learn more about me at votegabe.com, and I'll stick around later for time to chat with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Dodd, Assembly Member and Senate District 3.
And 5 grandkids. I've owned and operated a business in this district and outside the district as well for 25 years starting. My dad started here in Vallejo in 1950. I've been a director of different nonprofits throughout my community for over 30 years. And then I ran for the Board of Supervisors in 2000 in Napa County and served for 14 years on the Napa County Board of Supervisors and 14 years on the Metropolitan. I can't talk about my accomplishments all throughout. You can get that at BillDodd.com. But let me just tell you, I have the experience and the record getting things done locally, regionally, and statewide, and I appreciate your support. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Michael Yamada, Senate District 3 candidate.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by thanking Solano County and actually a lifetime member of APAPA. So I want to first congratulate all of you for having this forum so that you can hear directly from us candidates about what we stand for, what we hope to accomplish, and also to answer your questions. I am a lifelong Democrat, a professional social worker by training, now in my 42nd year of public service. I have lived, worked, and served the community not only here locally the last 22 years in Northern California, but for the first 22 years of my 42 years in social work practice throughout California, Los Angeles County, San Diego County, but also from Washington, D.C. for 10 years, where I served both with the Census Bureau as well as the Office of the Secretary of Commerce. I look forward to your questions and hope that you will evaluate carefully who it is that you would like to see represent you in the Senate. Thank you very much.
And last but certainly not least, Mike Reagan, Solano County Supervisor, District 5.
28 years in the Air Force. I was transferred to Travis Air Force Base in 1991 and served there in a few roles until 1999. My daughters were 4 and 1. They don't know anywhere else. I have worked since then as a district rep for a state senator. I've worked Homeland Defense and Defense Policy for a member of Congress, and I was on the Board of Supervisors for 8 years. I'm running because local government is where we have to figure out the balled up mess that comes to us from the federal and state government and try to make it work for the citizens on the ground here in the community. It's a difficult job, but the County Board of Supervisors and the school boards and the local city councils, we actually have the chance, with only 5 of us, to actually govern instead of picking sides and throwing bombs at each other. I'm eager to do that. I did it before when I was on for 8 years. It's about leadership. I exerted it then. I will continue to exert it. And I really appreciate you all showing up today, and I look forward to the forum. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I first started my campaign, the ones that helped get me into it were Asian Pacific Islanders. They were the ones that were part of the group. It's a Democrat plot.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Hey, this is a nonpartisan college. We're
Thank you very much. And yes, I am a Democrat. You can use my mind.
Like I said, it was working men and women were the ones that got me involved. You have a large, active Asian Pacific Islander group in Solano County, especially in Vallejo. A lot of my friends that helped me in the beginning of my campaign with voter registration and voter outreach were Pacific Islanders. And you give the Pacific Islanders a task, they will not stop until they complete that task. If this room is any indication, you guys can make a huge, huge impact, even bigger than the impact that you've already made. Thank you.
I'm a Democrat. Grew up in the Midwest as a Democrat, 20 years in the Air Force as a Democrat. Something about being a retired colonel, people think you got to be a Republican. But to answer your question, I want to ask you all a question. And that is, how many folks in the audience, by a show of hands, have worked on a campaign